Today's video is going to be very cut and dry. We are talking about 10 buying mistakes that I see a lot of people making right now. And full disclosure, I have made all 10 of these mistakes in the last 7 years. So I thought we could talk about it. Welcome back to another installment of Krabby's Cards. And we will just jump right into it with number one. Buying because everyone else is, right? Simple enough. I think there is more of that going on right now than any point in history of the Pokemon hobby. We are maybe at the most popular, or at least the most mainstream that Pokemon cards have ever been. And I think there's so many new people coming in. And if that's you, great. Welcome. It's a fun hobby. But don't just buy because you see everybody else buying it, right? Like, everyone's buying 151 right now and Prismatic and whatever. And if you're just buying it just because, like, oh, well, my friend just put $1,000 into 151, don't put $1,000 into 151 just because, like, oh, well, everyone else is, right? Like, think about it. Make sure you're building a collection that you like. Make sure you're building investments that you believe in, that you've done the research on. Why do you think 151 is going to be a good set for the future, right? Probably is, but like, make sure you're doing that research yourself. And every week we are seeing just these all-time highs for everything. And it's easy to get swept up in it and see just everything getting bought up and want to jump in on that. But and like I said, that's something I've definitely done in the past, like 2020, 2021. That was definitely me, just buying. And just because, it's like, oh, well, everyone's buying this stuff up, right? So that's number one, pretty simple. We're going to get into some deeper ones, more analytical as we go here. So number two is hitting the buy it now button on eBay instead of waiting for an auction. So again, when a market is hot like this, you're going to have a lot of people listing stuff very high. And while, especially with vintage right now, there is a lot of auctions that are ending at all-time highs, for the more high pop stuff, a lot of times if if there's a card that you're going for, let's say that you're going for just like a PSA 9 or a PSA 10 of an illustration rare, and maybe it's even pretty popular, but there's 10 buy it nows for $300, and there's 10 auctions that are ending in the next week or two, like 7 to 10 days, right? And they're ending at all different times. They're different sellers that have different ratings and everything. Throw all of those on your watch list and see what happens. Be a little patient if it's something that you're willing to to just kind of wait on if you really want it for your collection. But it pays to be patient. Like, even in a market like this, sometimes if an auction is ending at a weird time, you can get it for under market sometimes. And not everything is going for all-time high right now. There's still some variation with some cards. You can have a $20 to $30 difference even from day to day with the same card. So or sealed product, right? I know that I've seen a couple channels talk about this recently, actually, with sealed booster boxes, that some of these like buy it nows and market prices are pretty high. But then if you look at some of the auctions, sometimes you can get sealed product for well under what a lot of the buy it nows are. Look at Probstein auctions on eBay. There's a little bit of a question on their their practices, but we won't get into that. But when you send stuff to them, which I have sold stuff with them in the past, not recently, but in the past. So when you sell with them, they just throw it up, like, as soon as they get it, they just put it up on like a 7-day auction, no matter what time it is. So sometimes on Probstein, you'll have sealed products ending at like really weird times, and sometimes you can get steals. So that's a nice little nugget there for you. But anyway, so yeah, so always check some auctions out before you just smash that buy it now button, because you might get a better deal. So all right, number 3. buying sealed product with no plan. I think if you're buying a large amount of sealed product, you have to have some kind of plan, because it sounds so easy, like, oh, I buy sealed product and it goes up, or I just like having sealed product in my collection. But you have to remember, it takes space, which can run out quick depending on the size of your house. It takes patience, right? Like if you're buying it as an investment, be ready to have it for years. So you're taking up all that space and you're going to have it for 3 to 5 to 7 years, right? That's significant. Condition matters when you're talking about sealed product. So you have to make sure that you don't have high humidity. Make sure you have it in a spot that's not going to have any leaks or have a dog get to it or a toddler get to it. So you have to take all that into account. And then, not all sealed product ages the same. Like there's so many factors when it comes to sealed product. And it's like simple. Buying sealed and sitting on it is probably the most simple thing to do in the hobby, but it's not effortless, if that makes sense. Like you still have to put effort into it and make sure that your collection is secured and it's safe, right? And that's something that I struggle with. Like the acrylic, these acrylic cases are great and everything, but then you gotta, like, if you're displaying it, that's great, but you can't always display everything. At least not at my house, I can't. So sometimes you got to have stuff in bins and stuff. And then if you get to the point where you have a storage unit, which I got to that point actually at the beginning of this year, I took out a storage unit for the first time. And then you want to make sure that storage unit is secure and doesn't have like water pipes at the top go like that. That was one thing when I was like looking at a couple different storage units. It was like, okay, I don't want one that has like a water pipe right on the top and like it would burst onto my stuff or anything. So there's so many factors. So don't just buy sealed product with no plan, because you can run into issues really quickly, right? So that's for sealed. Number 4, this is something that I just thought about recently. If you're able to vend a show, like if you go to shows a lot, if you're going to a show 3 or 4 hours every week and you have the time, why not vend it so you can buy, right? I guess there's now people that are buying a table at a show, and they're going there with no product, no cards, no anything, and they just put out a sign that says, I'm buying at 85%, right? I've never done this. I would like to do it. I really don't have time to vend on the weekends with family stuff, but it's genius, right? Go to a show and say, hey, buying at 85%, make sure you have, the capital available to be able to buy stuff, and knock yourself out, right? If you can get stuff at 80, 85, even 90%, and you're buying stuff for your collection and buying stuff to resell, whatever, like it's an interesting thought, like an interesting what's the word I'm looking for? It's just it's cool, right? I think it was Jar Chomp, Jake, right, that was talking about it on Midweek with Champs last week, and I was like, that's a crazy idea. That's very innovative was the word I was looking for. Very, very crafty, right? Like hey, like and you don't have to go there with no product. You can obviously go there with something, but vendors are always buying, so it's a clever way if you have the time. Go vend at a show and buy a bunch of stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, so that's number 4, right? Yeah. Number 5, not checking around at multiple websites, not price comping. So right, like I have websites that I trust, right? There's multiple websites that I go to, stores that I go to that I know the person is trustworthy, and I check those first. But I've tried to get in the habit to make sure that I go look around at multiple different websites when I'm looking for especially if I'm looking for like loose packs or even like smaller things, not like booster boxes, like ETBs, right? ETBs are a great example because even like there is really no market price, right? Like TCG Player and eBay is the closest we have to like a market price, but people still will list stuff kind of like all over the place sometimes, right? And if you're savvy and you make sure you check different websites, and stuff sells out quick right now, but like Ascended Heroes, there was some websites that were selling it for 90, some for 99, some for 105, some for like it was kind of all over the place. And yeah, of course, the ones that were selling it for 90, 90 to 100, they sold out quick. But if you were ready to go, and every day or morning and night you were searching those websites and looking for stuff, you can get stuff for good buys. So it's good to have a great source to go to buy stuff, like two or three online sellers that you really trust a lot, and you're getting legit stuff and everything. But make sure you do yourself a favor and still once in a while look around at some other places and make sure you're getting a good deal, because right now every dollar counts right now, because you want your collection and your investments to go as far as they can. So that was number 5. Yep, that's number 5. Number 6, not taking advantage of trading. So this is something too that I took years to realize, like, oh wait, I can find somebody else that wants stuff that I have and trade for like even money, right? Like, as if you're not, now if you're going to a show, you're not going to get this unless you find someone like another person that's there, just as a person, as a customer, right? As a Patreon or whatever they call it, patron. So trading is such a good way to get out of something that you don't want for something that you do want, and really not having it cost you anything. Like, obviously you paid for that original product, but like if you bought a booster box of like let's say Paradox Rift, right? I bought a bunch of Paradox Rift for like $84 a box, and now it's, well, I don't even know, I haven't checked, 250, 260 maybe, and I want to trade it for a Surging Sparks box, or trade it for some Ascended Heroes ETBs or something, right? Maybe there's somebody that's looking for a Paradox Rift. Maybe this is a bad example because I know people hate on Paradox Rift. I like it. But insert whatever set name you want, right? If you can find someone that's looking for that product and you trade it for a product that you want, that's great. I know it's technically not buying, but then you don't have to go out and buy that item. Now you can just kind of do an even swap and get it for whatever the cost basis was of that original item, right? So that's kind of a nice little hack that I've used, not as much as I would like, and it's usually with friends, right? It's usually with close friends. Like, I missed the Black Bolt and White Flare PC ETB drop, right, when it first happened. And one of my buddies got it, and he was fine with, he had picked up just a regular ETB of both, and they looked very similar. They didn't do much of a difference with the artwork. I think it's just zoomed in a little bit. And I traded him some, I think, like Paldean Fates tins and maybe a collection box or two and some different stuff, and just we did an even swap, and we were both happy, right? So and then I was able to get my my Black Bolt and White Flare PC ETBs for basically whatever the cost of that product was, and it was stuff that had appreciated a little bit, so it was a good deal, right? So trading is definitely fun, and obviously one of the core kind of core values of Pokemon, right? Trading has been there since the start, so it's always fun. Number 7. This is gonna sound really cliche, but buy the card, not the grade. I feel like this is so true right now. Look, grading companies are so inconsistent, and even if it's a good deal, there might be a reason it's a good deal. Going back to those auctions, if PSA 10, CGC 10, tagged it, whatever. Well, tag's supposed to be perfect, right? AI, but I don't know. Beckett, whatever it is, if you're buying a pristine 10 card, make sure you check out the pictures first. Make sure there's good pictures. People on eBay are terrible at taking pictures. If it's a PSA card, especially a newer cert, There's no reason for them to not have the high resolution pictures that you get right off of PSA. That's what I use right on my eBay now. When I have cards for sale that I send through PSA, I use the picture that the scanner that they sent me, right? Because it's a way better picture than I'll be able to take. So make sure you're checking the condition of the cards, because sometimes, you hear of people grading cards and they get a 7 or an 8 and they regrade it and they regrade it and eventually it gets a 10. It's like, it's crazy, right? So sometimes if you're just like, oh, well, this is a PSA 10, I'm going to buy it, right? Even in person at a show, like, oh, this is a PSA 10, here you go. You do it, and then you get home, you're like, wait a minute, this has like 3 white dots on the back. It has a little, dink in the corner over here. And it's like, how is this a PSA 10? So consistently inconsistent is the grading companies. So, and like I said, I say this because I have definitely, I bought the Magic Carp from Paldea Evolved, and it was a little worse condition than I thought. Now it's a 9, I think, a CGC 9. But it's very off center, and there's definitely some whitening on the back. And I'm like, oh man, I might look for a different copy. Maybe I'll try to get a 10 or something. But hey, it is what it is. You got to do your diligence and really look at the pictures and stuff when you're buying graded cards. So yeah, that is number 7. Number 8. This is another one that I think is really big right now, going on right now. So don't buy something because it's popular and just think that it's a good buy, right? So just because a card is really popular doesn't mean that it is attractive at today's price. The Van Gogh Pikachu is a perfect example. Look how expensive that card has gotten, right? Yeah, it's super popular, but could it go down in price in the future? I don't know. Again, maybe this is a bad example because of the buyout, but look at any super popular card. Look at stuff. Look at the history and the ebbs and flows of even stuff like the Moonbryon, and the Charizard from 151 is going absolutely nuts right now. And like, I get it, they're popular Pokemon, popular cards, but they also have very high population reports, right? Like, there's a lot of PSA 10s, there's a lot of raw ones out there, there's a lot of PSA 9s, or whatever, enter grading company name here. So there's tons of copies out there of all these popular cards. And just because it's a great item doesn't mean that it's a good entry point, right? You can have a good item that has a terrible price right now. So just make sure that you're not buying stuff just because it's the hot thing right now. Because even things, did the Bubble Mew dip yet? Like, the Bubble Mew went absolutely crazy, and I was like, this has got to come down at some point. Like, maybe it's still going up right now. I didn't do the research on it, but I just know that that card was like just like a normal card for like a year or two, and then it just went insane. But yeah. Anyway, so that's number 8. Number 9. This is a very obscure one that I only learned about a year ago. And that is, and this is different by state, but did you know, if you're buying something with the intent to resell it sometime in the future, you do not have to pay sales tax on it? So now this doesn't apply, like Pokemon Center doesn't honor it and stuff, but eBay does, and a lot of local shops will, and some different people. So I got a reseller's license like a year ago, and it's set up as like a sole proprietorship, and it's named Krabby's Cards and everything. And I actually got like a sales tax exemption certificate, and I presented it at my local store that I buy most of my stuff from, and they exempt me from, my state has 6% sales tax, and I don't have to pay that every time I make a purchase at that store. So, as much as I love my collection, like, I'm not planning on dying with any of this, right? Like, it'll be passed on to the kids for them to do what they want with, but my intent is technically to resell a lot of this stuff, right, in the future, whether it's 10, 20, 30 years. So because I'm going to be reselling a lot of this stuff, I don't have to pay that sales tax up front, because the end consumer is the one that has to pay the sales tax. So shout out to Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles. If you don't watch him, he's, you know, a great business channel, and that's actually where I learned it from. I had no idea that that was a thing, and I'm like, man, this is crazy, because I, you know, buy, sell, trade all the time, right? Like, you never know what you're going to end up selling. So you might as well, you know, go legit and get it under a, you know, a tax ID number. And, you know, and I haven't really sold anything under like the business name in the last year, so I didn't like have to do any kind of like tax implications with it or anything. So but yeah, so because it's only been the last year that I've been buying stuff with the tax exemption. So anything that I bought prior to that wasn't a part of that. So it was a little confusing, but I talked to my accountant about it, so it's all good. But yeah, so look into that for your state. Every state's different, and some Instagram sellers are even requiring that you have the reseller certificate now to actually buy from them. So which is fair, because they want to do business above board and do it right. So if you're buying and selling at a high level, make sure you look into that. It's something that a lot of people don't know about. And last but not least, number 10 is just flat out buying something for no reason. I can't tell you how many times in the last 7 years that I was, excuse me, that I was at Target or Walmart or my local game store, or just looking online, and I just buy something just to buy it, right? Like, oh, well, this is on the shelf. Let me put that in my cart. And it's like, you know, why did I buy this? You know, ETBs especially, like, you know, why did I buy this, whatever, Vivid Voltage ETB? Why did I buy this? Like, if I already have one or something, or like just sets that I don't really like that much, or product that I just don't really have a use for in my collection, and I don't really like it as a long-term hold. Like, I've just done it so much. Like, there's so many just little examples and little stuff like that. But yeah, so make sure that you're not just like mindlessly, and it kind of goes back full circle to like the buying because everybody else is. Like, just make sure that there's a reason that you're buying, especially right now with where prices are right now. I, Make sure you're buying something because you either really like it for your collection, or you really believe in it long term and you want to sell it or trade it later, because this hobby has gotten too expensive recently to just be kind of aimlessly throwing money around and buying stuff for no reason. So yeah, that's gonna do it. We got through 10 of them. I appreciate you. Hopefully that wasn't too. Hopefully most of them made sense. Let me know down below which one you are the most guilty of. Like, what do you find you need to work on for your buying skills? Krabby's Collector Corner pick of the day. We are going with the Giratina. This is called the Hidden Potential tin. I had to look at it. This has 5 packs. I believe all probably from the Sword and Shield era. This came out in 2022. So, yeah, there's a Rotom and a Gardevoir one as well. Very weird combination of 3 Pokemon. I don't understand. Sometimes when they do these tins, it makes no sense, the Pokemon they pick together. But the Giratina is by far the coolest one. Even a cool promo. I think that promo is really hard to grade, but just this tin looks awesome. I got this off of Pokemon Center like maybe 2 years ago or something, before they sold out. So when stuff actually still sat on the Pokemon Center. I have no idea what packs are in these. I'll have to look up like a PokeRev video or something to see what packs are in these. I'm guessing probably end of Sword and Shield, probably like Lost Origin, maybe Brilliant Stars. But yeah, pretty cool tin. I don't know how much it's worth. I just really like it for display. So pretty cool. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you heard and saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you all tomorrow.